Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, June 30th, and you know what that means. It's time for the High Risk Wrestling Recap. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. Without further ado, let's get into the news. WWE is expected to target a couple of CMLL stars after the Arena Mexico show after Grand Slam. I probably reported this last week, but we are reiterating this. They're going to try to pump up AAA and maybe get started on NXT Mexico. I'm just saying. AEW returning to the Hammerstein Ballroom. They will be going back this year. We don't know exactly when. Remember, they do have a residency at the legendary ECW Arena in Philadelphia. Looks like TKO may be wanting to move the WWE headquarters to Las Vegas. Remember, that is also where UFC is located. It makes sense to have your two companies under one roof in one city. We will see what happens with that. We have some recent signings in wrestling companies. First things first, Steve Maclin. Well, his contract maybe is coming up, and he may not re-sign. We'll see what happens there, but he is the current TNA International Champion. MJF has crashed MLW Summer of the Beast, taking out Mystico. Looks like this feud is not over between them. Remember, MJF got his start in MLW. Back onto the signing side of things, Cedric Alexander has officially crossed the line. He is a part of the TNA roster. Takeshita has signed with the New Japan Pro Wrestling. Remember, he spent a couple years recently in TNA. And of course, Alex Windsor. She is now officially All Elite, joining All Elite Wrestling. Another good get for the women's division. CM Punk issued a public apology at the Not a Chambers kickoff show, and whatever I think the fan that asked him the question was a plant. Speaking of blood money, there were technical difficulties for Smackdown. The show went out for 30 minutes. Not good, and some really just horrible news. Liv Morgan had a stalker. He was arrested. He was attempting to break into her home. He will be hit on federal charges. Hikuleo finally made his debut at Night of Champions. He will be going by the name Tala Tonga. So there we go. The bloodline is back and better than ever. He is the younger brother of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. On the injury side of things, Mayu Iwatani has suffered a broken rib. She will be out for a little bit. Zoe Stark gave us a recovery update on her ACL, MCL, and meniscus tear. She's had surgery. She's feeling good. It's all about getting back, getting healthy, and just being back better than ever. Casey Catanzaro has finally gotten surgery on her broken nose. Otis is out with the injury, so he will be going for the time being. Also, Chad Gable is out with injury. That's why he was written off of TV. Shotzi Blackheart has a broken arm, but that will not stop her from wrestling. She has been making big things for herself in MLW. Jim Ross has let us know that he is cancer-free. An NXT star has possibly suffered an injury on an episode. Looks like Tank of Hank and Tank may have gotten hurt. We'll wait to see more about that. Rey Mysterio gives a recovery timeline on his groin injury. He's feeling good. He's feeling better. He tore his groin, but he's still going to be out for the time being. Keith Lee is officially healthy, and he's just waiting for the call from AEW. And both Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are both injured. That sucks for them. We'll see how long they will be out. That's the news, and we'll be right back with the weekend review. Right, the weekend review. You know where we start off. Monday Night Raw. This was the Night of Champions Go Home show. This show gets a fist. We open up with Seth Rollins coming out with the squad. They still don't have a team name yet, but he literally breaks down everything in this company that happens because of him winning the championship. Cash in the Money Banks at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns being the tribal chief, all of this, and he is right. And now they will deal with another issue, which is Penta, and then Braun goes on to defeat Penta. Dom and AJ at Night of Champions called up as Dominic is hurt. The New Day will end up defending the tag team championships against the Judgment Day on the following week. We had a sit-down interview with Goldberg. He says, listen, he wanted to have one more match. He didn't know against who, didn't know when, but thinking back to when Gunther disrespected him in Atlanta, well, Atlanta's coming up, and that's when they'll do it. Finn rallies the troops and almost gets beat on by Raquel, but looks like the Judgment Day are stronger than they were in these last couple of weeks. Bayley and Lyra have a talk with each other, and Bayley says when she beats Becky, Lyra will be the first to get a championship match. Jade Cargill ends up defeating Roxanne Perez to advance to the Queen of the Ring final. Rusev will finally redeem Sheamus. Gunther rebuts Goldberg, says, listen, you're old, you're a one-trick pony. I'm going to embarrass you again in front of your family. Becky doesn't like that Bayley and Lyra are conspiring against her. Sammy and Cross is made official for Night of Champions as Cross eggs on Sammy and says, got him. Becky retained the Intercontinental Championship against Bayley by DQ after Lyra Valkyria got involved and attacked Becky Lynch. So, Lyra messed up here. Penta snapped Gable's arm, writing him off of TV. Roxanne Perez helped Raquel attack Rhea Ripley before their street fight at Night of Champions. In the main event, Cody Rhodes defeated Jey Uso to advance to the King of the Ring final. It wasn't a bad show. Over on Dynamite, we are making our push towards All In. This show gets a fist. Mercedes Moné attacked Toni Storm as she was backstage coming out for something. She was entering the building and essentially let the games begin. We have heated up this feud 2 more weeks, and we are very much there. The Bucks use their EVP powers to move Ospreay and Swerve's tag match. The match was going later in the evening. Well, it's going down now. And to sell this, right, Ospreay's running out. He's still taping up himself, tying on his boots. Swerve is barely dressed. They still end up winning the match. They were taking on Blake Christian and Lee Moriarty. They then challenged the Bucks to a match at All In, want them to put their EVP status on the line. The Bucks end up suspending Swerve for putting his hands on official. Okada introduces his new friends, the Don Callis family, to the Bucks, who are fine with everybody, except they don't really like their boss. They all have a common goal, hurting Omega and hurting Ibushi. And Takeshita tells Omega that this alliance is only temporary. I cannot wait for this match. Kota Ibushi ends up defeating Trent. He'll fight Okada next week. Jon Moxley doesn't care about Hangman's crybaby emo crap. He's going to run him out of the business and hurt him and finally put a whooping on him. Ricochet convinces AR Fox to tag with him, and they lose. They then lose to Jet Speed after Ricochet walked out on AR Fox. Jet Speed ends up challenging the Hurt Syndicate to a tag team title match at All In. Well, they get their asses beat on the stage, end up getting put through a table. And MJF is talking, he wants to go get the Triple B back. Mark Briscoe comes out, shuts him down, like, listen, you over your time. You got this little kosher pickle. I see why you want to be with the Hurt Syndicate. Briscoe then ends up defeating Bandido, Roderick Strong, and Takeshita to earn the #1 spot in the men's casino gauntlet at All In. And then in the women's #1 spot match, Statlander defeated Willow, Thunder Rosa, and Athena to earn the spot. To earn that #1 spot. Marina Shafir and Wheeler Yuta got involved. So there's that, and the Thunder Rosa and Athena took themselves out during the match. So I like that we've got multiple storylines going now. Stokely and FTR will talk it out with the Outrunners or Collision. Hangman in the main event defeated Beast Mortos. Lights go out, lights come back on. He gets hit with an EVP trigger. The Death Riders will come out and pretty much choke out Hangman. The option Ospreay makes the save. Notably, Swerve was not there to help make that save. Over on Impact, we're trying to get back on track. People are looking for a way to find their footing. Joe Hendry comes out and he's like, listen, I know it's been rough, but I'm going to get the championship back. And, well, we still all believe in Joe Hendry. Killer Kelly says she made Masha Slamovich into a monster, and she will end up defeating and killing that monster. Zack Wentz defeated Ryan Nemeth, and then the Rascals laid down the challenge for the tag team titles at Slammiversary. Trick will make Hendry a believer in Trick at Slammiversary. Masha Slammiversary challenges Killer Kelly to a chain match. Ariana Grace says she has something in store for Masha, but won't let her know just yet. Ash by Elegance wins the battle royal to become the #1 contender for the Women's Championship. With the Knockout Championship, JC Jane then confronts Masha on the stage. So we're actually going to get JC Jane versus Masha at Slammiversary, and we're with the Ash match later. Also the Killer Kelly match later. So Masha's got a lot of coals and a lot of fires. Jake Something wants the International Championship. Steve Macklin welcomes that challenge. Mustafa Ali defeated John Skyler, and then Tasha Steele stops Ali from hitting Jason Hodge with the chair, and him finally arrives, and him is no other than Cedric Alexander, who debuts and tries talking some sense to Ali, and Cedric is backed up by the Order 4. Remember the history between Cedric and Ali. One was the heart of 205 Live, the other was the soul of 205 Live. Those two dudes carried that promotion along with Buddy Matthews. Matt Cardona steps to the system, and still something's going on with him and Brian Myers, former friends, former tag team partners. The Hardys are defeating the Northern Armory, and they support Leon Slater in his quest to defeat Moose for the X Division Championship. Moose then won a squash match. Mike Santana defeated AJ Francis in a street fight. Santana's like, I'm not done. He's not stopping. And he wants the World Championship. Over on Collision, we had the Battle of the Kyles. This show gets a fist. We open up with FTR and the Outrunners, and they can't hash things out. FTR calls Outrunners, jokes. People aren't laughing with you, they're laughing at you. So the Outrunners challenges them to a match. Next week, the Patriarchy team of Nick Wayne and Christian Cage defeated Big Bill and Brian Keith. So you see what they did here. They built up the Gates of Agony while building up Brian Keith and Big Bill, and then had Brian Keith and Big Bill defeat the Gates of Agony, which built up Brian Keith and Big Bill even more to lose to the Patriarchy. There's layers to this. Josh Alexander would target Adam Cole's ankle for their championship match. MVP tells Christian that out of respect for you, do not come for these tag team championships. While Christian calls MVP a criminal. He's a former criminal. Brody King and Templario defeated Hachicero and Rocky Romero. Mercedes Moné interrupts Toni Storm's video package, and we go to her backstage. She's draped in all of her championships. She's draped in gold. She says she is not the motherfucker to mess with, and she is going to end Toni Storm. Toni, meanwhile, says she will play Mercedes' game and will take her out. Mina makes Toni promise not to get involved in her match against Mercedes, as Mercedes will be defending the TBS Championship against Mina Shirakawa on Dynamite 300. Megan Bayne defeated Vert Vixen. Anthony Bowen's told Billy to stay home so he can get his stuff together. Adam Cole defeated Josh Alexander, retaining the TNT Championship. The Gates of Agony attacked AR Fox as AR Fox was confronting Ricochet. Ricochet's like, you know what? Let's have a talk. Alex Windsor is officially all elite. Queen Aminata defeated Sky Blue. After the match, Sky Blue, Giulia Hart, and Thekla jumped Aminata while TJ made the save, while Megan Bayne, the penalty before, just looked up from the stage. Listen, if you're give us these women's tag team titles, give us these championships. Rocky Romero tells Daniel Garcia, listen, you don't know what a real friend is, and that you shouldn't trust Adam Cole. Well, in the main event, Kyle Fletcher defeated Kyle O'Reilly in the Battle of the Cows. The crowd made this match so much more fun. Still a solid match. The Paragon ended up making, and Daniel Garcia ended up making the save after the match. The one thing I can tell you this, that even though I love AEW, they are my preferred company. Too many after match beatdowns. Over on SmackDown, this was the Night of Champions Go Home show. Cody Rhodes and Randy talk about their shared history and winning the King of the Ring. Randy says Cody wants to win King of the Ring. Randy's like, I need to win King of the Ring. It gets me one step closer to the championship number 15. Then we had that 25-30 minute hour. JC Mateo defeated Jimmy Uso. Solo Sikoa offers up a hug, but Jimmy slaps him, so Jacob Fatu made the save as Jimmy's about to get murdered. Again, DIY rallies the troops, ends up getting a tag match against Andrade. Giulia defeated Zelina Vega to win the United States Championship. So we are already on our third champion. It was inevitable that Giulia was going to win a championship. I'm surprised she actually won a belt before Stephanie Vaquer. Alexa tells Charlotte I know we're not friends, but this could be a convenience of allies, right? So what I think they're going to do is, since Liv is out with the women's tag team titles, the Bellas versus Alexa and Charlotte versus Raquel and Roxanne. Asuka and Jade have a Queen of the Ring segment. Naomi just comes out, listen, proceed with caution. I miss Money in the Bank. I can do whatever. The GMs have a plan for the women's tag team titles. Truth interrupts Aleister Black, and he wants Cena again, and Black follows Truth out. So we're pivoting to, looks like we're going to be pivoting to Truth versus Aleister Black. Andrade and Rey Fenix in a fantastic match defeated DIY. Truth calls out Cena and eats a black man, so we're definitely pivoting to Aleister and Truth. Black laughs off Damian Priest and says, yo, like, what was that for? And Carmella says, Priest, let Truth and them handle their own business before you get got. The Street Profits want the smoke. They end up retaining the tag team championship against the Wyatt Six after all the tag teams get involved. Jimmy and Jacob are on the same page. Yeet and yada me. Tiffany Stratton defeats Nia Jax in the last man standing match, retaining the women's championship. Naomi tried cashing in, but ultimately failed. The cash-in never went through. She still has the briefcase. Cena comes out, does his usual thing, and then we get his Dr. Thugonomics music, and out comes CM Punk dressed like John Cena and cuts a freestyle on Cena. It was a little rough, but the lines were good. It was really solid. Our matches of the week from Raw: Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso in the King of the Ring semifinal match. From Dynamite, both of the number one entry casino gauntlets. So Mark Briscoe versus Roderick Strong versus Bandido versus Konosuke Takeshita. And on the women's side of things, Kris Statlander versus Willow, Nightingale versus Thunder Rosa versus Athena. From Collision, the Battle of the Cows, baby, Kyle Fletcher versus Kyle O'Reilly. From SmackDown, Andrade and Rey Fenix versus DIY. And from New Japan, Tanahashi Jam, Zack Sabre versus Hirooki Goto for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Our stars of the week: Cody Rhodes, Jade Cargill, Giulia, and Zack Sabre Jr. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You can check out the socials: Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.